Hello and welcome to another episode of the Talkin Rangers podcast. Today is Friday, March 29th. This is episode 26 of the Talkin Rangers podcast. As always, make sure you like and subscribe. We've got a lot more content coming your way as the NHL playoffs are just 2 weeks away. April 20th begins hopefully a 16-win run for the New York Rangers that results in a Stanley Cup win. Joe, how's it going, man?
It's going good, Vibes are high. I mean, Rangers going through it this season, like this ending stretch, and they're playing really well. Actually just came off a mini golf match versus my friend Mike and just absolutely dummied him. So, we're feeling good. We're feeling good. Like I said, Rangers playing well. I dummied my friend Mike in mini golf. And yeah, playoff time, baby.
Just feeling good. Vibes are high. The
Vibes are
vibes could
definitely
not be
vibes
higher.
are high. Vibes are high.
We're a wagon. This team is a wagon.
And my
They
mini golf
are.
game. And my
Yep.
mini golf game. Don't forget about that
Yes.
too.
We got to give some respect to the mini golf game. Are you taking home the cup in mini golf?
It was more of a jacket. I'm more of a jacket
Green
guy.
jacket.
Green jacket. Say I'm green jacket. That's what I'm
Yeah,
wearing
you're
right
wearing
now.
it right
But
now.
yeah, like pretty much. I go like I said. I went out there, kind of like this team, confident, battling to the end. I came
No
back.
quit.
I'm no quit Joe. The
Yeah.
Rangers are always down in games. They come back and they win. I was down like 3 strokes with maybe I think 15 or 16 left. Came back and win. Never got out of it. Never felt down. I knew I was going to win. Come back, just like the New York Rangers.
That green jacket looks a lot more higher quality than the one they hand out the Masters.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's
would say.
nice. It's the Michigan State one.
Yeah. Michigan State green jacket.
Yeah.
There it is. So, yeah, the Rangers are dominating right now. 102 points on the season. They've won 4 straight, 73 games in, just 9 games left. We're the first team in the NHL to clinch the playoffs. They've got the most points in the NHL. They've got the most wins in the NHL. You name a stat, and the Rangers are probably at the top of the league in that stat right now. That's how good this team's been. And they've been this good for a very long time. March was a phenomenal month for this team. February was a phenomenal month. This team has been unstoppable ever since that win against the Ottawa Senators 7-2. Ever since that point, they have been unstoppable. They have been dominant. They have lost just 5 games, I believe it's been since that loss or since that win. They've lost just 5 games over the last 2 months, which is crazy, and a whole lot of wins. So, what are your overall thoughts right now on where this team's at? And of course, we'll break down some of these most recent games and some of these top performers that are contributing in a big way.
Yeah, I mean, like it's kind of been the same like recipe the whole year. Like you come in, some games aren't great, like the start of the games where you kind of get down, or maybe just in general, the goaltenders kind of keep you in a little. But I feel like they've kind of went away from that a little, and they're coming out more strong. But over the last couple of games, I think you kind of see you kind of see like Zibanejad, dude. He's like playing pretty well. So I think that's like a strong thing about like the team now, opposed from like the team in January, is that you kind of see that like first line coming out and playing with more grit, more of like tendency to like play better um in the offensive zone, more speed in the neutral zone. I think you kind of see more of a complete team now as opposed to in what I'd say January, maybe a little bit in December too. It was more so like a one line team. Like you just had the Panarin line. That was it. But now you kind of have more of a commitment to defense and then more of that depth, I think, in the forward room. And then obviously you taking to account Igor and Quick that are playing insane. Like both of them playing very well. So I feel like everything is like going well right now, and like they're firing on all cylinders. It's good to see Zibanejad get some confidence, especially before the playoffs. And you got to hope that he can take this into the playoffs. But overall, like I said, this team is just playing well, playing good defensively. Penalty kill has been solid, even without those last couple games with Truba and Lindgren. And then obviously the power play is pretty lethal when they're able to obviously get into the zone. I feel like sometimes they kind of struggle in the neutral zone, entering the zone. I feel like if you clog them up, they have trouble getting in because, I mean, they don't do dump and chase great, but if they get in with that possession, I mean that power play is lethal, and it just everybody's clicking right now. Panarin's playing well, Fox is playing well, Igor is playing well, and it's just a great time. I feel like to stay on this trajectory, because if you can get this going for another month and you continue to play like this into the playoffs, I think this team could go all the way easily. I mean, they're like, this is a great time. I feel like you were kind of saying earlier when we were talking, this is the perfect time for a team to get hot. Is right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, and we were mentioning a little bit, like you just said, off air, where last year's team down their final 5-10 games was not playing as well, and this year's team is playing a whole lot better. Like we just
Yeah,
mentioned, they've only lost 5 games since January 26th. They have gone basically 2 months of almost perfect hockey. I mean, this team has been pretty much perfect for the better part of 2 months, and obviously, like you mentioned, Mika March on that's the one negative. Mika March ends tomorrow. So we have
yeah,
to start up Mika April now.
yeah.
Mika April needs to
Or
come. He needs to come through in the playoffs.
Temi April.
Or Temi April. There it
Temi
is.
April.
Or
Big
Temi
playoffs
April,
for him.
just in
I'm
time
ex-
for playoffs.
I'm expecting a big playoff out of Panarin.
Or Temi April. Who do we got for May?
Mika,
Miller
I
May.
guess. Miller, man, Mika again. Mika again.
Mika May. All right, that's
And
fair.
then do
But
we have a J? Oh my God.
uh,
Do we is anybody's name start with Jimmy
no.
VC? Jimmy VC.
Oh
Jimmy
yeah, Jimmy
Jimmy
June.
Jimmy June.
Yeah, Jimmy
Dude,
June. We
Conn
got it
Smythe
all.
winner.
Hip. um, but yeah, this team is they're getting hot at the right time. They're playing really good hockey, and another thing too is this stretch of games we talked about a couple weeks ago about how tough of a stretch it was, where they had teams like Winnipeg, had teams like Boston, Florida, the Avalanche, Carolina, Florida, even earlier prior to the deadline. You also had Toronto prior to the deadline. Like they had this stretch of games in March where it was against really good teams that they were battling for playoff spots with, or playoff positioning rather with. And there were a lot of measuring stick games. There were a lot of games to see how do we match up against the league's best. And I mean, just over the last three wins or four, they've won 4 straight. 3 of the last 4 have been those type of measuring stick games where they beat Boston 5-2, they beat Florida in a shootout, and then last night again they beat the Avs in a shootout. So all of these games against these top teams in both the East and of course the Avalanche in the Western Conference, it's so exciting. It's so gets you so pumped up because it's not like they're beating up on the bottom feeders. It's not like they're beating up on these bad teams. They're beating up on really good teams, and they're playing in a lot of these games. It feels like playoff hockey where they've gone into 3 straight overtime games. 2 of the 3 have been shootouts. So all of this is just helping them for the postseason, getting them ready for the postseason. And now the schedule, loosens up a little bit where they've got Arizona on Saturday. Not saying you can't take any of those teams lightly. You don't want to, because this team is riding on a high. You don't want to go into the
Yeah.
playoffs losing 5 of 6 or struggling against some of these poor teams. But it's been special to watch this team, beat up on some of these really good teams. So what have been your impressions on that? Just their ability to dominate these really good teams in the top of the league.
Yeah, they have a pretty good, like, I wouldn't say identity, but like they can come at you in like any way. Like, you want to play goaltending? Okay, we got your Sturkin. You want to play defense? All right, we'll stop you defensively in the neutral zone. You want to go like gun and run? All right, we'll try to contend with our top guys in our power play unit. I think they have such a diverse like game plan where they can, like I said, they can play any type of hockey. They can. I
Mhm.
mean, I wouldn't say obviously they're not a huge grindy team, but I think they have some guys that I think can play that. I mean, obviously you don't need everybody doing that, but I mean, I think the third line can kind of play a little bit grindy and somewhat of a shutdown. You want to put Rempe out there in the fourth line, he's going to bang bodies, so they can play for the most part. I think most of anybody, like any other team's game, which is really good, especially in the playoffs, where you kind of become like a nightmare matchup for any team where like they do something great, the Rangers can change kind of what they do and counter that, or change it back to where they can stop that, but then they can also like exploit that and use that for like offense or something like that. But they're a very diverse team, and they play the neutral zone coverage really well when they need to against like a high flying team like the Avalanche. Like last night, I think they were able to contain them in the neutral zone. They outshot the Rangers. I think they had some prime chances, but for the most part, I think they had a lot of shots, but it was more so like from the outside. And I think Igor really didn't have that much trouble last night. But just like the fact that they're not only, like I said, a diverse team, but also they can come back.
Yeah.
They prove it here and there every game. They go down, they're not out of it. And I think, again, kind of going back to what I was saying, kind of goes back to the coaching staff. And I think that's something that I think has changed a lot is you can kind of see adjustments being made. And that was, I think, a huge reason why they lost to the Devils was I didn't think they made enough adjustments. And yeah, I 100% blame that on Gallant. And I think I trust Lavalette to make adjustments. If you win or if you go down 1 or 2 games in a series, I have a lot of faith in this team and the coaching staff to again make those adjustments and come back and bounce back. Like no quit New York. So
Yep. Yeah, that no quit mindset. Yeah, I mean it's 3 straight games, 3 straight comebacks. You come back from down 2-0 against Florida. Obviously, come back. That Philly game felt for a while there like a hangover game where the Rangers didn't have a whole lot going. They end up scoring late in the second to make it 2-1. They end up coming back in just a crazy back and forth game. I think 7 goals in the third period, which was crazy. And of course, last night too, where they fell down in the first, came back, scored 2 goals. Then of course the Avs came back, had some momentum towards the end of the third, but they were able to go into overtime, go into shootout, and pick up the win. So, yeah, I trust this coaching staff so much more than last year. And just last year, like you mentioned with the Devils, they were playing that North-South game. The Rangers were terrible that series. They didn't make any adjustments. You could tell by once the power play went, the entire team went. And I think that's why this team this year has not been too reliant on the power plays because they're better coached. They're more well coached, and their ability to make adjustments where even if their power play is not working, they can find ways to get goals 5-on-5, play well 5-on-5, and win games through 5-on-5, not win games just through the power play, which forever, even past regimes, this New York Rangers team has always been all about the power play. This year, that hasn't really been the case. The power play at times has actually been not very good, and they're still finding ways to win. So it's exciting. Now, to get to last night's game, they win a shootout 3-2 over the Avalanche. No goals in the first. Really felt like this was going to be a 1-0, 2-1, sort of a low scoring, not much action type of game. And then things really picked up in the second where, 33 seconds left in the second period, Middlestad scores, makes it 1-0. And then Capo Caco off of Georgiev's back, Kreider with a power play, Devin Toews comes back, and then the big one was
Taves.
Panarin and Trocheck shutting it down. What was it?
Taves. Come on.
Taves? Botched his name.
You're a hockey fan. How could you say Toes?
I said
Come on,
Toews.
come on, Bubs. You're
With
better
a
than
V.
that. Better than that.
I mess up all the time. Terrible with names. Artemi. All right, Artemi Panarin, Vincent Trocheck with the big goals, and of course Igor shut it down. That was the main story. I feel we'll get to goal scorers in a second, but Igor was dominant last night. 39 saves, 41 shots, 975 save percentage. He continues to just dominate. What have been your impressions of Igor? And quick as well.
I mean, like saying earlier, I mean, both the goaltenders have been phenomenal. I mean, just outstanding. I mean, obviously, you can't expect a goalie to make every save. I mean, that's obviously not realistic, but I mean, he makes big saves. And what I mean by that, it's like in games when it's tight and you need a save, he comes up. And whether that's holding on to a lead or making sure the other team doesn't go up by 2 or 3, he comes up big. And his positioning has been great. I mean, his glove is getting beaten a little bit. I don't know if you ever noticed. I feel like a lot of times he gets caught like coming into like the set. Like there's sometimes where he's like setting up to like face a shot, and he kind of like comes down. And as he's coming down, a lot of guys rip the puck over that glove side, but I feel like we're nitpicking. I mean, he's been unbelievable since that like reset since the All-Star game. But yeah, I mean him, and then Quick 2 has been good too. I mean, he's been outstanding backup goaltender. I feel like if you told me, I wouldn't believe you if you told me how good he was playing this year. I'd say you're lying. I mean, I would think, oh, like those are Igor's numbers, right? Like, no, those are Jonathan Quick's numbers, which is very impressive for a guy his age, a guy who wasn't great last year, kind of got ran out of LA. But yeah, no, he's been unbelievable. Same as Igor, and it's really a good thing to have both these goalies going. Granted, are hoping that obviously there's no injuries and from either of them, but I mean I'm pretty confident in both of them. Obviously, more confident in Igor, younger, tremendous with the puck. I mean, like last night, I mean, what a pass.
Yeah,
Like how many goalies in the league do you think can do that? Go up aggressively, get the pass, and fire breakaway passes.
not much.
Such a
I
huge
wish the
advantage.
Rangers would bury some of those breakaways.
He should have like 2 or 3 more points this year. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's such a huge advantage having a
Mhm.
goalie that can do that.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, and I think people don't really give him credit for that. I feel like they overlook that when they're kind of rating the goaltenders. I think that's got to be something that should really stand out and separate him from the other goalies, where he's going to go behind the net and get that puck, so that your
Yeah.
defensemen don't get hit into the boards or quicker breakouts, um, catching teams in changes down the ice. Like he can
Yeah.
do all of that, and I feel like that's a component of his game that I think people don't really give him credit for. I think it goes unnoticed, but that's such an unbelievable trait to have as a goalie, to be able to handle the puck like that. But just in the general sense, kind of just tying everything together, they both been awesome.
Yeah, the passing ability from Igor is just so special. Of course, last night, like you said, he split the guys in neutral zone. Panarin takes it and almost buries it. But um, one day we'll score. One day we'll score a breakaway like that. But he's gonna score a goal. It's gonna happen. He's gonna score a goal one of these days.
Maybe in the playoffs.
Maybe in the playoffs. I mean,
He has a multi-point
it's
game in the playoffs, so that's pretty impressive.
yeah, that is true. Yeah, he's a beast. He's been great and quick as well. Like you mentioned, when you look at the numbers, he's got a 2.44 goals allowed per game. When you track that back to the last time he had the last time that was lower, that's his lowest since 2017, 2018, where he had a 2.40. So this is a guy that has not played this well in
I know. That's
about
what I was
six,
saying.
7 years. So
It's
yeah,
insane. Found in
yeah,
youth.
mhm. it's been it's been crazy. And obviously for Igor too, the turnaround, because for a while there, the big question was with this team is if Igor's struggling, this team's not going to get anywhere. And it's still that case. Igor's got to play well. If Igor plays like this, how are you going to stop this team? Like, we don't want to sound cocky, but if Igor is playing this good, you've seen what this team has done recently. You saw what this team did last night
Yeah,
against the
exactly.
Avalanche. They put up 41 shots or 40 shots rather, and he was great. So it's exciting times there. What was your impression from we'll start with Trocheck. We'll start with Trocheck here because has had an excellent season. It might win Stephen McDonald extra effort award.
Yeah, I
As well,
mean,
making a strong case for that.
I'd go either him, even Quick, or maybe Lindgren, one of those guys. But yeah,
Yeah,
no, he's been unbelievable. I mean, just every aspect of his game. I feel like we've said this before. He does everything. Kills penalties. Really good on faceoffs. Aggressive. Hits. Back checks hard. Has a good shot. Can pass. Has chemistry with Panarin. So he does everything. He's able to kind of be that like extra guy in the power play where he doesn't have to be like a main component of it, and he does it so well. Where
mhm,
like if you need someone in the bumper doing something, he's there. If you need an extra guy in front of the net, he's there. You need someone at the point, he's there. He's very interchangeable, and it's good to have a guy like that on the power play where he can kind of do a little bit of everything. Where some guys are like have to be on the one-time side, or have to be in front of the net, or I have to be on the top of the point on the umbrella. But he can do everything, and like it just in general in every aspect of his game. He's such like a Swiss Army knife type of player
yeah,
where he can do everything. Like I said, penalty kills, power play, 5-on-5. And again, the biggest thing for me on him is just his ability to just win faceoffs. Like you said, it was 59.2, which is unbelievable. That's something that the Rangers team was lacking for years. It's a guy who can win faceoff. Just the team in general, I feel like,
yeah,
was bad in faceoffs, and he's such a like a breath of fresh air in that faceoff depart or the
yeah,
statistic of the team where you really see the Rangers under 50% for a lot of the guys, and him and a lot of the other guys have started to come up this year. Like I've seen like Gaudreau's at like 54%. That's really good. So you have
yeah,
guys starting to do better, but him especially hovering around 60%, wins those big faceoffs in the key position or key spots in the
yeah,
games too. Like you need him to win a faceoff on the power play, he wins it. You need him to win a big faceoff in the defensive zone, he wins it. He's just everything great. He's a great player. Um, Seems like a great guy in the locker room, and just an unbelievable signing by Drury. And he's a great player, and he's going to end up being around a point a game this year, which is a bargain for how much money he's making. I think he's making like 5.6 or something around that, and if he scores like 80 points, that's insane. People got to be
yeah,
talking about that as the best contract in the league. I know people love to talk about
Panarin.
Well, Panarin, I
Oh
think.
yeah.
No, I'm saying
Oh, I
like,
thought you were talking about Rangers.
well, it's just in general like a bargain, like
Yeah.
best bang for the buck. I know a lot of people like, oh, like Zach Hyman, 50 goals,
Yeah.
but Zach Hyman does not do as much for the Oilers than Trocheck does. He does everything, and on top of that, yeah, he's playing with Panarin, but he's not playing with Connor McDavid. So I'm just gonna
Yeah.
say that. But he's been unbelievable. Like, what have you been, or what are your thoughts been on Trocheck?
Yeah, I've been super impressed. I mean, I'm glad that you brought up the faceoffs because how many years now have we seen this team where, like you mentioned, a big faceoff on the power play, they would lose it and they wouldn't be able to get set up
Because
properly. And
that's so vital though. Because
yeah,
if like I mentioned earlier, how bad they are sometimes of entering the zone in the power play.
yeah, it's
They
bad.
lose that first faceoff. That's huge in the playoffs, especially if the power play is clicking and you need that to score a big goal. You lose that faceoff. Think about it. That's like 30, 40 seconds off the power play like that.
Yep. Yep.
So it's huge.
Yeah. A good chance he finishes, he's at 59.2 right now, like we said. Good chance he finishes 60, 61 possibly. Obviously, still 8 games left or 9 games left either. But he's right at a point per game, 25 goals, 40 assists, 73 points this season. So right at the point per game, which is what you want to see. I love the physicality he brings. He's kind of that he's probably more for opposing fan base. He's kind of that annoying player that
I'd say he's like a
he's
mixture of
annoying.
like he's got some. I mean, he's not like as physical as Wilson, but he kind of is a little bit like that. And then not as skilled as Marchand. I'd say he's in between Marchand and Wilson, a little bit closer to Marchand. I'd say
Yeah.
he's
Yeah,
annoying.
that yeah, exactly. He's annoying. He brings a little bit of that physicality. Um, and I agree. He does a lot more than Zach Hyman. And also, when we just talk about most valuable, like where would this Ranger team right now? Where would Panarin be right now if it wasn't for Trocheck? Because they work so good off of each other. You remove one of those guys from this team or from that second line, and we'd be looking at this season completely differently than we are right now, where they're at 102 points. They're first in the league, first in the East, of course. So yeah, he's been awesome. I really like what he's brought in. Just a second line of just overall, just a second line too. That second line's been great. Panarin, Trocheck. I mean, they're one of the. How would you rank them right now? Panarin and Trocheck as like a 1-2 punch.
Like in the league,
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like
I still feel like there's
they're
at
pretty good.
times
I
meat on
mean,
the
like
bone too because Lafreniere's gotten
yeah,
snake bit.
he was snake bit for a
He could have
while,
even had more
but I
points.
mean, I don't know. It's hard to say because like it depends what you're looking at. As far as I feel like a lot of the times people are more so looking just at like two guys playing with each other and how many points they put up together. But
Yeah,
I don't want to be biased or I don't know. Maybe top 10. I'd say you can argue them top 10 just of how well they complement each other. I mean, like because like if you look at like Draisaitl, McKinnon, or McDavid,
yeah,
they're really good offensively, but like do any of them play really great defense? Kind of help them out. Like I think Trocheck definitely does a lot of dirty work in the defensive zone to kind of keep those guys plus minus down. So
yeah,
you can argue top 10, but I mean I could see you saying a little like 15ish maybe, but I'd say from like 10 to 15. But they're awesome, especially for this team, and that's all. The only thing that matters is how well
yeah,
they do with this team. Doesn't matter how many points they're putting up. It just matters, are they playing well with this team? Are they meshing? And then obviously, are we winning?
yeah. Which we're doing a lot of winning
Hmm.
this year. So that's been great. Yeah, I mean they're I would say they're definitely top 10. Trying to think of others, but yeah, I mean it doesn't mean a whole lot. They're winning games, they're playing well. And then really, I mean, since we're on the point of Trocheck, Panarin this week surpassed 100 points. He is on his way potentially to 50 goals here. He's still got some work to do, but he's at 103 points, 43 goals, 60 assists. He's sixth in goals, fourth in points, tied for fifth in assists. Does he reach 50? He's got to get 7 in 9 games. It's not crazy. I mean, hat trick would certainly help if he could pull one of those out of his back
Yeah,
pocket, but he's been great. I mean, Panarin is he's been so good this season. Um, Obviously the hat trick the other night against Boston last week. He's shown up in big ways, and of course against Florida too. He had some chances too in overtime against Florida where he almost put the game away and almost had back-to-back hat tricks. So this is a guy that's been one of the best players in the league. What have been your impressions on Panarin? And if he can continue this into the playoffs, it adds another layer to how tough this team can be to beat, you know? So,
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I mean, he's. I feel like he's one of those guys that you want to be on your team in the playoffs.
yeah.
So
Yeah. It's been great and just a lot of positives. The vibes are high. Vibes are high. This team's a wagon right now. Playing really good hockey. Capo Kako as well with the goal last night off the back of Georgiev. So he got in the back of the net. Nice to see Kako. I think he's had 3 goals in the last 10. What have been your impressions on Kako?
it's a weird season for him. I mean,
Yeah. I
like
feel like his
he
career
obviously,
has been kind of weird.
yeah, he got hurt. I mean, he missed like what 10 games, maybe more. I don't remember. Maybe 20 games. But he missed like
Yeah.
a little over around 2 months. I think he got hurt at the end of November. Came back at the beginning of January. So or beginning of maybe the beginning of February. No, I think end of January. It was like the Capitals game. But yeah, I mean, it seems like he's not doing bad. I mean, he's been fine as a third line player. Like, you really want him to play with someone with speed. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, because that kind of hurts his game. He's not very fast, especially when he gets the puck. He's slow, not quick. His damage is getting into the offensive zone and kind of just cycling and using his strength and his edges work. And I think they need someone I think that can really bring that game out of him. The guy definitely that did that was Heedle. I think
Yeah.
Trocheck could because he plays a little bit more up tempo and a little bit more speed, more north south. I mean, him and Wenberg I think have been good together, but I think I'd really love to see him again with a guy with more speed. But I think he's been fine. I think defensively he's been good. Doesn't shoot the puck as much as I really would like him to,
Yeah.
but overall it's been a little disappointing. But I mean, at the end of the day, if he can just come out there, play good minutes in that third line, play good defensively, and then hopefully maybe can bury 1 or 2 timely goals in the playoffs. You kind of get what you get out of him. I mean, I know he's in a contract year. I don't know as far as what's going to happen with that in the offseason, but I guess we can kind of get we don't really have to think about that now,
Yeah.
but
After the cup.
he still has 11 goals, which I think that's not bad. I mean,
Yeah.
for like I said, getting hurt, not really playing it much power play, doesn't really play much top 6 minutes, so it's been okay season. Obviously disappointing. You wanted him to have the big breakout season. Didn't have it, but I guess that's more was going toward Lafreniere this year, where he kind of had that
Mm-hmm.
that breakout. But you got to hope something clicks, and he still has some time. I mean, if you look at him and Busnevich, they're on roughly the same career path, like point wise and stuff like that. Or he's only
3.
23.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's gonna have 1 or 2
Yeah.
more years. I think I'd give him till age 25, and if he's really not doing much, I think that's when you kind of give it, you know, cut your losses. But that's something that I think you kind of kick down the road. Where I have faith in him. I think he can come up and make some big plays for the team.
Yeah, he's not hurting the team. He's not like hurting the team or anything. He is what he is. He's kind of a third line guy. Like you mentioned, not having Heedle there definitely seems to maybe hurt his play a little bit. Um, he'll never be what we thought he was going to be as the number 2 overall pick. That's just never going to happen. I still think there's some people out there that try and judge him to that level. But if we're judging him off of being a third line wing and
He's a good third
doing,
line.
yeah, he's solid.
He's a
He's not
solid.
he's not anything more than that.
He's a solid top 9 forward.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
give
I
him.
agree. And he's nothing more really, not anything less. That's kind of what he is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately his career hasn't quite gone the way we expected it to. Some of that's been coaching, some of it's, some of it's been a good chunk of it seems maybe a lot of times to be coaching, but it is what it is. I don't really know what his ceiling is. Like, do you think he can be like how like what do you think his ceiling is? Because it feels like a third line guy, but do you think he can have like a 20-25 goal season? I think his highest was what last year where he had 18.
Maybe if he stays healthy, plays top 6. I think if he played with Panarin, I think he could be doing around what Lafreniere is doing. I mean, he's a little bit of a different player than Lafreniere, but I think if he played a full season with Lafreniere or with Panarin, he could put up what like 50 points. I think I think you can get like 20-40 out of him, or that would be like his ceiling. I think would be like 20-40, but you could
Yeah.
get like 20, 15, 25, something like that. But it's just, I think my thing with him is he seems like a very confidence-driven guy. Like if he's confident, he's going to play well. When he's off his game and not confident, he's going to go invisible. So
Yeah.
I feel like he needs to kind of gain his confidence to play well, and I think if he does, he can kind of go into that second line winger. But I mean, the thing about him where it kind of saves him a little is he's good defensively. So
Yeah.
if he was bad
Yeah.
defensively, it would have been a disaster.
Yeah. Defensively good against the boards. And I think too is
I'd like to see him
like
play
you
pound to gill, actually, to get him more ice time. I think that's
yeah,
something that they could try next year
that's
if they
true.
don't trade him.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's a good point. You make a point too, like some of the inconsistency. You like to see more consistency out of him. More ice time potentially could help that, but I mean, look, he is what he is. There's not much more that needs to be said about Kako. Those are more things that you address in the offseason, which thankfully we don't really have to think much about right now.
Yeah.
Back to Panarin for a quick second. Do you think he hits 40 or 50?
7 and 9 games, is it?
Yeah, it'd be 9 games left.
I'd say probably not, but I mean, we didn't really talk about that. We should kind of get into that.
Seven,
How about
9.
100 points from Artemi Panarin? What are your thoughts on that? Do
Oh,
you think
he's been brilliant.
what point of the season where you're like, he's definitely getting 100 points? Because I'll be honest with you, after the first week, I was like, he's getting 100 points.
Yeah, when I thought he was getting 100 points,
Yeah,
it was pretty early in the season because I remember we were talking about it. It was early in the season. We talked about Jaromir Jagr, him beating his record. Well,
he
I think
could.
Jagr is
I
what,
mean,
124.
he would need like 2 points a game to finish the season.
Yeah, he would need like a 5-point game. He would need like a hat trick, 2 assist type. It could happen. I mean, they've
Maybe
got some
tomorrow.
games coming up that are favorable. Yeah, I mean, they've got the
Maybe tomorrow.
Arizona, they've got Philly, who they just put up 6 goals against. New Jersey, who can't. I mean, the goal actually they're playing a little bit better with
One
Jake
game.
Allen stuff, but yeah, 1 game. But still, they can't stop a nosebleed. So they've got some games. Even Detroit's been recently. They're out of a playoff spot right now. So there could be games that are favorable for Panarin to kind of
I'm just like
go dominant. But
so
yeah, it was pretty
impressed.
early for me too.
It's so impressive though. Like, I mean, the way he kind of changed his game, where he tried to limit his mistakes going for those east-west passes, more north-south, cuts to the middle of the net, and then I mean, like a career high in shots, I think this year, where he is just peppering shots. I mean, last year he was so reluctant to shoot. I mean, you can blame it a little bit on him, but I also take some blame to get it on Gallant by like, hey, like, listen, you got to change your play style. I mean, he's got 262 shots this year, which is the most in his career. And I mean, I think that huge thing is obviously him, trying to change his play style up. I think he kind of realized that the way he was playing in the playoffs and a little portion of the season last year wasn't sustainable and kind of was hurting the team where he was becoming predictable, making
Yeah.
turnovers. And I just think the change of the game, like, so essential to this team where, like I said, he's cutting to the middle. He's shooting the pucks more. He's getting a little bit grittier, not a lot of grittiness in his game, but he's still going to the net. Yeah, it's been awesome. I mean, just he's been the MVP of this team. You can argue he should be top 5 in the Hart voting. It's so nice to see him come back confident after that. I'd say for him, pretty disastrous playoff, and even the last playoff prior to last year was pretty bad too for him. But if he comes out and he plays great in the playoffs, I mean, this team could go far. I mean,
Yeah, I agree.
Could go far.
That's been the biggest thing with Panarin throughout his entire career is the playoffs, or specifically with the Rangers. It's been the playoffs. But if he's right for the playoffs, he can be. This team is, as we talked about, just adds that other layer with Igor playing well. Continue to harp on it. It's the core of this team. It's the Kreider. It's Mika. It's Fox. It's Panarin. It's Igor. If they show up in the playoffs, this team's going places. If they don't, you'll get what you had last year, where you go into the offseason with more questions and answers, and it's a disaster. So, I mean, what has he had? He's had 3 hat tricks this season, right?
Where would you put him all time?
All-time Ranger or just free, like, signing?
All time Ranger.
All-time Ranger. Ooh.
And does
Uh,
he and has he done enough to get his number 10 retired? Or I think he's got to do a little bit more in the playoffs.
I think he's got to do more in the playoffs. If this team goes the distance this year and he's a big part of it, like he plays like he did in the regular
Well,
season,
I
no
think
doubt.
there's a chance that maybe he even gets
Even,
retired if even if they don't win. I mean, he's putting up 90-point seasons every year.
well, yeah, but yeah, I mean, they don't have to win a cup for him to get in the rafters. But let's just say they get to the Eastern Conference Finals or whatever. Let's just say he's dominant this postseason. I think you have to.
Yeah.
Right now, I mean, he's been so good in the regular season, but the postseason has been great. Um, I mean, I'd say so. I mean, where is he gonna? I think this will rank. What is this gonna rank? 100. Let's say he finished 110 points. Where does that? Let's see.
Like all-time Ranger
All
scorers?
time, all time for like a single season.
I think that'd be number 2, I
Maybe.
think.
Yeah, only behind Yager, right? I mean, for a guy to only be behind to have his second highest scoring season or point season in Rangers history, I think so. Would you put him up there? Like right now?
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Or do you still need to see more?
he's already played what?
I mean, it's been what,
This is
5
fifth
seasons?
fifth season
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
Rangers.
Yeah, because
And
they got him in 18 or 19.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I looked it up. He would be right now he's tied for 5th.
All time.
Jean Ratella is second at 109. So 110, which if he averages a point a game, he'd finish with 112. It would be the second highest scoring season as a Ranger. Um, let's see. He's not really high up in assists. He's kind of pretty even this year. Right now, he's 10th for Rangers goals. I mean, I don't see him scoring 11 goals in the last 9 games, but I mean, I guess you could say maybe it's possible. But I mean, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he has an outside chance. I think at 120, maybe. I mean, that's 17
That's
points, and
17 in 9 games. That's
what's a
crazy. That's
2 points a game, right? Like that's what
yeah.
he would have to
He,
average. He's probably gone through some streaks where he scored like 17 points in 9 games, so it's possible. But
yeah. I
I think
mean,
maybe,
he's
but
had
you know,
what?
at this point of the season, though, do you really want him, really going all out for that? It doesn't
No, I
really
mean
make
he's
sense.
you gotta save some for
Yeah,
playoffs.
for the
Can't let up
playoffs.
all your points.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'd say you put him up there in the rafter. I mean, he's been. You think he's the best of all time, free agent?
he's up there. I mean, like besides obviously the playoffs, I mean, he's delivered. I mean, I can't really remember a guy that with like his caliber to get into free agency and kind of deliver like he has. I mean, Gaudreau's been bad. Personally, I think Tavares has been shit. He's getting paid the same amount of
Yeah.
money. Doesn't put up the nearly as many points. I'm trying to think of other guys that were kind of like big signings around that. Um,
Mm,
that kind of hit the market and signed. But I feel like a lot of times you don't see guys like of his caliber hit free agency, and then let's be honest, he's pretty much delivered. I mean, obviously in the playoffs, last 2 years hasn't been great, but I mean, putting up 90-point seasons is very impressive, and he kind of drives
yeah.
his team, and it's something that the Rangers kind of lacked the last. I know they were good and had all those runs, but they didn't really have that one elite player on their team
Yeah.
besides
And
besides Lundqvist.
yeah, definitely. And yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, I'm glad you mentioned like the regular season stuff. While the postseason hasn't quite been there, he's a big reason why they're getting to postseason. You
Yeah,
take away Panarin from these
100%.
teams, you can make the case they're not even getting to the playoffs. Um,
hmm
so I mean, look, outside of the COVID season, I mean, the COVID season was a full year. You're talking about
He
five
would have
straight seasons of 90 plus.
he might have scored 100 that year. I think he was at like
Yeah,
68 in some like 40 something games. He would have hit 100,
yeah,
and he would have hit 100 the first year too if the season didn't get cut off.
yeah, because he probably would have had actually. He probably would have been probably around the same area because he had what 95 the first year and 69 games, right? Then they cut it off, or it was somewhere around there.
They
It
had like
was
maybe like
March.
11, 10 games.
Yeah. So he would have been, he would have been around. I mean, he's my favorite player right now. I mean, it's fun to
Yeah,
watch.
he's been awesome.
Yeah, and he's a good guy too. Like easy to root
Yeah,
for.
he's a funny
Easy to
guy.
root for. Yeah.
From what I heard, he's actually a really nice person too. If you see him like in public or anything,
hmm
he's very friendly, and that's awesome.
Yeah. No, yeah, very likable guy and a guy that you definitely want to be, leading the way on the
Mhm.
ice and off. The hair. It's the hair. It's got to be the hair. Because we said at the beginning of the year, maybe
May-
new Panarin, new bread, and look at him.
Maybe everybody's got to shave their hair. Get that
Yeah.
Zibanejad. Maybe Zibanejad's hair's got to go
Who would look the worst bald?
on the team.
Mika bald.
He would look weird, especially if he just had long hair.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mika would look weird bald. The most Igor would look weird bald too. You wouldn't be able to tell, really. I mean, but
yeah, I guess
Igor
not
would look
really.
weird
Yeah, he would
bald.
look a little weird bald. I feel like a lot of them would. I feel like Kako could pull off being bald. I feel like
Yeah,
his
he's
hairline's kind of
already
going, then he's really
and he's
blonde
already
too.
blonde. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
really blonde already. I was just about to say that. I could see Kako could pull off being bald.
yeah. I think he's got a couple more years.
VZ? Can
Him,
VZ pull off being
he could,
bald? He
he
could
could
pull off
pull,
anything.
he could pull off anything. Yeah,
If he didn't have an eye, if he didn't have eyebrows, we'd still be calling him Hemi VZ. He could shave off his eyebrows.
yeah. I mean, hey,
Dude,
he's
Trocheck
nope.
bald.
Nah, Trocheck needs to have the hair.
Yeah, Trocheck bald would look so weird.
No,
Panarin, look, I will still say it to this day. I thought it was photoshopped.
yeah,
I did
I
not
there,
think he was actually bald.
100%. I thought that was definitely Photoshop too.
You think he shaves it for the playoffs, or you think he keeps it? Like, you think he gets a new shave, like opposite playoff period, he gets a new
Yeah,
shave,
maybe
or he just keeps
gets
it going?
he gets like a 2 or like a 1
A
and
one, yeah, just
just
kind of
goes
cleans
over.
it up a little bit.
Yeah, yeah,
Gets like a buzz, not
yeah.
full of bald. Yeah, it's been fun year. So what do we think? Final predictions. I'll say he gets to. I'll say I'll go out on a limb. I'll say he gets to 115, 12 points in 9 games. I'll say 115.
I think he goes like just over a point a game. I think he gets like 113.
Yeah,
Yeah,
around that range. Maybe pull 124. That would be 21 points in 9 games. That'd be over. That would almost be over 2 points per game.
yeah.
That'd be like two
We'll
two.
see. I mean, it's not a big deal. I
No,
kind of was
it's
rooting for
not.
him to get 100, and like he kind of got it
Yeah,
already.
once he
So
got 100. I
yeah,
say, how many goals do you think? I see 47, 4 goals
I
in
think
9 games,
yeah. I think
48.
3 or 4 more will probably end up
Yeah.
happening.
hmm
So
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, the 100 points, it's definitely great for him. And obviously the first time in his career he's done it. Could have had it a couple more times, of course, with the 2 COVID seasons kind of messed that up. But good to see him do it this year and carry that into the playoffs. We'll be good to go. So now you look at some of the playoff matchups here. Rangers right now in first. So last week when we spoke, they would have had to play the Lightning. Now they would have to play the Washington Capitals. So like that matchup a lot better than Tampa. What are you thinking for Rangers playoffs? Do you think we have to play? Do you think
dude,
Washington jumps Philly?
yeah. I was about to say I have no idea. I think they
Philly is a
might.
disaster right now. They might not make the playoffs.
Dude, this is so tough. I don't know who we're gonna play. I can't.
Yeah,
It could be
I
Philly.
just don't
It
want
could
to play
be
Tampa
it
first
could be
round. I'll be
Tampa. It
honest.
could be Toronto. It could be
Toronto would be
freaking
weird.
the Islanders. Who knows? But I prefer we play the Capitals. I had to do a
Yeah,
preference.
I take Capitals or Philly.
Yeah, one of those teams that Philly's got a young team, but they don't really have anything great. Like they don't like the Devils were a fast team.
Yeah.
The
The only
Phillies
thing
are
with the Flyers is you got Tortorella's got some experience. I mean, not that
That's true, but
Capitals. It's new, young,
I
new
don't really
coach.
trust their
It's
goaltending. They don't really have like anything like the Devils had like Hughes who was like a superstar. The Flyers don't really have anything they can kind of rely on. But
yeah. The only thing the Capitals got is TJ
Capitals
Oshie,
have nothing. They don't have a
Rangers killer.
superstar. They don't have a
No.
young team that can like has a lot of jump. They're old. They're beaten up. They give
Yeah.
up a lot of goals. They don't have a great goaltending. I mean, Lindgren's been solid, but besides him, there's been stretches where he hasn't been good, and they don't really have anything where I could really see them as a potential upset team, like with a first time head coach. Like I don't see anything. I could
Mhm.
maybe see them losing to the Flyers. Highly doubt it, but I mean the Capitals should be 4 or 5 games, like
Yeah.
easy series.
Yeah, I agree. I think either of those matchups would be 4 or 5. But yeah, you make a good point. Like Capitals don't bring any speed. Ovechkin's not the
They don't
same.
have anything where it's like upset, if you want to say
Yeah,
material.
they're
Like the
they're towards
Panthers
the end.
The Panthers had a good roster. They were not great, but they
Mhm.
had a good roster.
Yeah.
They had good players. They play a grindy team. They have a goaltender who was proven, has won 2 Vezina trophies. That you wouldn't like be surprised if he got hot.
Yeah.
So that's like when people are like, oh well, the Bruins lost, but like they played a team that I could see them beating. I mean, the only example maybe would be the Blue Jackets, but the Blue Jackets still had like a veteran-esque team when they beat the Lightning, when they broke the record for most wins or most points.
Mhm.
they still had a decent amount of veterans on the team with maybe you could say it's kind of like similar, where they also had Tortorella on that team. But I mean, they had Panarin, they had Boone Jenner, they had some decent like veterans on that team, and I think they had Bobrovsky.
Yeah.
So I mean, you had a good goaltender, and I think that that's a huge thing, and that's something that the Flyers don't have. That's something that the Capitals don't have. So I feel like those series should be winnable in 4 or 5 games. I mean, maybe you go to 6, but they should be done in 4 to 5.
Yeah. The only thing I could see with Capitals going to like 6, maybe because they do have experience.
Yeah, but they
But
don't have the players are past their prime though. That's my
yeah, no,
thing
that's
is
what I'm
that
saying. Like
it's not
it
like the
should be
Lightning
5.
where
It's
you're still
mhm,
in your prime and they have all that experience. These guys are at the end of their careers
yeah.
where they don't have anything really. Even though Ovechkin doesn't really have much left in the tank, he's not going to drive play,
No,
so he's
that
slow.
dude's cooked. He's washed. But
Yeah,
that's what I'm like. That's what I was thinking too. Is you're not going to run into a situation like last year where you face a young up and coming team, like you said, Florida, or a team like the Flyers could be. Not saying they will be, but a team like the Flyers, that young team like the Devils who kind of catch
but
fire
they're
and
bad though.
get an
They're
upset.
bad on special teams. Like the
No, they
Devils,
are,
the Flyers have
but
the worst
you don't.
power play.
Yeah, they're not. I know, but my point is like the chance of that happening would be higher with the Flyers than with the Capitals because the
Yeah.
Capitals are past their
Plus,
prime.
plus,
They're old.
plus,
They
the
don't have
Flyers
any
have got
upsets in them.
the Flyers have gone through horrible stretches this year. The
Yeah,
Devils were for most of the season one of the best teams in the league last year,
yeah.
and we were not
No,
favored in
yeah.
that series. So
No, I don't really think there's anybody like the Devils this year. I really don't.
yeah,
Or the
I
Rangers 2 years ago. I don't. I mean, maybe. I mean, Devils. I don't think will make it. They're still what five
the,
points out with,
they're gonna
and the
miss.
Capitals still have a game in hand.
Yeah, they're not gonna make it.
No, you think Islanders make it? No,
They
right?
have an outs. They have an outside chance. I mean, they had a big win yesterday,
Yeah, the
but
Florida win. It seems like maybe Varlamov played well. Maybe they.
no,
Oh
Sorokin.
no. Who would you rather, Islanders or Capitals?
Capitals, not even close.
Capitals.
They don't have Sorokin.
Who do you not want to face in the first round?
The Lightning.
Outside of the Lightning, is there anybody else outside the Lightning that you would not want to face? Toronto?
Oh, no, I
Would you
wouldn't
want
mind
to face Toronto?
Toronto. I
You
don't
wouldn't
care.
mind
I think
Toronto?
they. I think we beat Toronto. I think maybe it could go 6 or 7, but I think at the end
Yeah, I
of
mean
the
they
day,
don't win in the first round
they
of
don't have a
last
good.
year.
They don't match up well against the Rangers. I feel like the Rangers in the playoffs are going to be more of a defensive-minded team that
Yeah,
relies on goaltending and defense, and the Capital or the Lightning can't be or the Leafs can't beat you that way. If you go hard on the defensive side, clog the neutral zone, play good goaltending, that should be a quick series. They don't have grit too, so you could grind them down. If you get into like a shootout, run and gun, that's where that series goes 6, 7 games. But I think if the Rangers are able to shut them down, that should be a quick series. I don't have a problem with them playing the Leafs. I don't want to play the Devils. I know that they're probably not going to
no,
make the
I
playoffs. I just
don't
don't
think they're
want to
gonna
play the
make you.
fucking Devils. I don't want to hear that shit. Let's no Devils, and I really don't want to play the
Mhm.
Islanders either because I think they can play a little bit of a grindy game and have an elite goaltender, so that could go maybe 6, 7 games. I think the paths that you want to probably end up taking, which I think probably are the two most likely paths right now, are going to be either the Capitals or the Flyers.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I would not want to face the Devils again. I just don't. I don't want to hear their fans either. It's gonna be
No,
annoying. Even if they win the series, it's just gonna be so annoying. The entire series is gonna be
no, I don't
annoying.
want that either.
I just want to face Capitals. Like I don't know any Capitals fans. Just give me the Capitals.
No, yeah, I agree.
Flyers are. I know a couple Flyers fans, but they're not like
Yeah.
obnoxious.
You know what though? The thing
Just
about the
give me the
Flyers is,
Capitals, not
look
somebody
at it.
local, Philly or
They
New
they,
Jersey.
they played the best game possible. They played an unbelievable game, and they still couldn't beat us.
Who, the
So
Capitals or
yeah,
the
the Rangers
Flyers?
weren't great. The
Yeah,
Capital Flyers played amazing, and they still couldn't beat us. So
yeah, yeah. I agree. That's a good way of putting it. I mean, we've always dominated Flyers too, especially for like Mika. Like he's always had the Flyers number,
hmm
so it's you feel good about him getting off to a good start in that series. Plus, they are inexperienced, which you know, I just I do not want to just don't give me just not Tampa, anybody but Tampa really.
I agree. I don't want Tampa either.
I don't know. I'm scared of Tampa a little bit. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I feel
Be
like
a
we
tough
all are.
break.
Feel like we all are to some degree. We don't really want
Yeah.
that because they can run and gun, and then they have a lot of experience, and they have the goaltender that can come out and win a series. So they have a
Best
recipe.
case, yeah.
They have a good recipe for an upset.
Best case scenario, we don't have to worry about facing Tampa. Is just Tampa takes over, beats, or it's 4 points back right now of Toronto. Take over Toronto. We don't have to worry about it. And then we either get Toronto or some mixture of the Capitals, Islanders, Red Wings.
Then we got to take out the
Patrick Cage.
Hurricanes or the Red
Yeah,
Wings. I guess
Carolina.
could be an option too.
Well,
But
I think if we win the President's Trophy, wouldn't we have to probably face Florida second round?
no,
Or is it?
it doesn't
It would
matter.
be.
It's division winners play the wild cards. Then
Yeah,
you
I
play
was
the
just
winner.
looking at the bracket the other day, how it was set up.
Then you play the winner of the 2-3 matchup in your division.
Yeah, that's Wait, so
Come on, Bubs. Got to be on top of that.
I am, but I saw a bracket the other day. Hold on a second.
Bubs.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Who cares? We're beating the Capitals in the first round. Or the Red Wings. Imagine, I'm not even going to say it. Not even going to say it.
Has a
Nah,
legacy
yeah.
series.
Yeah, no.
Oh my
We don't
god,
wanna
dude!
talk
I
about
couldn't
that.
take that. Oh my god!
I am taking a one-way trip to Thailand if the Rangers lose in the first round. Pull a Cliff Kingsbury.
It's not happening.
I'll do
We're going to the Cup Finals.
Yep. Stanley Cup.
Yep.
What's happening?
Years that in force.
Sweep the finals?
No. 7 games.
7 games. Barkley Gaudreau. We know the script. We have the script.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to give up too much of it though, because we want to enjoy the play.
We don't want to give up with the second. We haven't given up the Eastern Conference Finals or the second round yet. We've only given up the first round, Gaudreau scoring first, and we've already given up 7-game overtime. That's it for Stanley Cup. So we don't want to give up too much of the script. Stay tuned for more releasing of the script. We'll reveal it as the playoffs go on. Any other closing thoughts here?
No, I mean, like I say this every episode, but please, everybody stay fucking healthy. No one get hurt. Let's play well into the playoffs. Everybody stays healthy. Let's go.
What's crazy?
Rangers. Let's go Rangers.
You know what's crazy is, yeah, I agree. You know what's Lindgren's already back.
Yeah, he's a fucking animal.
That guy's just unbelievable. So anyway, that'll close it out.
I guess we
Stay
could do
tuned for.
We could do the.
Oh
picks
yeah,
too.
goals.
Come on.
Goals.
I think spring break's got you on. Like
I mean, that was the first mistake of the day.
Yeah, but no, you messed up Taves' name.
Yeah, well, I mean that's not bad. I couldn't tell us about Devin Taves. Devon. I personally said Devin.
You also messed up the playoffs format.
No, I did not. Look online.
All right, whatever. Let's do the.
I refuse to believe that. All right, goals. Coyotes, Rangers.
You want me to go?
You can go. Yeah, you'll go.
Breadman.
We gotta keep it going. Breadman.
Panarin's burying one.
Give me Alex Wenberg.
Wendy's
biggie bag.
I thought you better say something else.
All right. Rangers Monday night, Pittsburgh.
You go first. You go first.
I'll go first. Why not? Chad Ruedel scoring against his former team.
Dude, you're throwing away a fucking pick by that. He's not scoring.
We don't believe in Ruedel?
No, I don't. Okay, I mean if you want to do,
I'll do it. No, he's gonna score one against his former team. It's happening.
Okay, all right. I mean, we'll see.
He's got the same amount of goals. If you combine Ruedel and Gaudreau's goals, we got 2 goals.
I will go with I'll go with Roslovic.
Roslovic?
Yeah.
All right. Wednesday, Devils. Want me to go?
I'll go again. Go like back and forth. Devils.
Don't take my pick.
I feel like this guy's good for a goal against the Devils every game. Chris Kreider.
Oh, come on.
I feel like that guy scores against. He's got good numbers against the Devils.
Well, it's a good thing I have the script because he's not going to score.
No, he doesn't.
Roslovic's going to score in back-to-back game. Roslovic. It's back-to-back game.
Okay.
He's going to score against Pittsburgh and he's going to score against the Devils.
I mean, last little thing here is you think You think Rempe plays in that game?
Devils?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Does he get thrown out
I
again?
mean, McDermott's probably just gonna chase him around.
You think he gets thrown out a third time?
Nah, jeez, I doubt it. If he gets thrown out a third time, there's actually they're gonna drop the gloves at like in to start a period. Everybody's
They'll
gonna
probably be like a
fight.
wanted sign outside the Prudential Center and have just
Yeah.
like Rempe's face on it.
Then we definitely don't want to face him in the playoffs. They're gonna throw beer cans at Rempe in the playoffs. Be
Only
like
60.
LeBron James. It's
But
gonna be LeBron.
only 60% of the people will have beer cans thrown at them because we'll have like 45%
Yeah,
of
that's
the
true.
arena. 45% of that arena is always blue. So, and you know what though? Quick thing too is there's a lot of Rangers fans at that game last night.
I know,
A
dude. You know what?
lot.
When they overturned that goal, you heard like no boos.
Even
Usually they always boo.
when he scored, there's a huge like eruption
Yeah,
of cheering. It's crazy.
Yeah, Rangers fans have been traveling so much this year. It used to just be like New Jersey, obviously Philly would take over, Carolina would take
Florida,
over, Florida. Now it's
both
everywhere.
Tampa, both Florida teams they
Yeah.
go there. But yeah,
Yeah, all the New Yorkers in Florida, but all the old New Yorkers. But yeah, even Columbus. You get a lot of people in Columbus.
yeah,
But I mean Columbus, those games, no Blue Jackets fan. The other team always says Blue Jackets fans don't exist.
I've met one.
Never met what?
I've met one.
Never met. Yeah, you have. Never
No.
met a Blue Jackets fan in my life. Blue Jackets fans. Anyway, we shouldn't be roasting the Blue Jackets because we did get Roslovic from them. So,
And they ended
for
our
Blue
streak.
Jackets, we wouldn't have our first line right wing right now.
They also ended our streak too.
That is true. Anyway, that'll do it. Stay tuned. A lot more content coming your way, and we'll see you in the next one.